Good morning, everyone. Good morning, dear ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, dear friends. Good morning, my dear students, everyone who is ready for today's live stream. Today we are going to talk about a very controversial topic, about really very difficult somehow topic. This topic concerns highly the spheres of Ukrainian life, the spheres of not only Ukrainian life as a country, but the spheres of many countries concerning organ transplantations. Nowadays, this topic is very hot for Ukraine. This topic is very hot for Ukrainian citizens, because nowadays in the news and TV, in media, everywhere, we have the problem concerning that our citizens, people who live in Ukraine, they do not have a possibility to have an adequate examination and organ transplantations, even when the problem seems to be like mortal. It's a pity that in our country we still do not have special laws. We do not have special legislation concerning the permission, or at least the regarding for permissions to organ transplantations. Today we are going to discuss this problem. Today we are going probably to give or to share with each other the advices, or at least the experience of other countries. I would like here, students, dear followers who are watching now, good morning to everyone. If you know any kind of experience, if you have had an experience, if you know something on the legislative base, if you know something on legal base, please write in your commentaries the information concerning organs transplantation, the experience that we can have from other countries, like sharing foreign experience. Probably if you might know, if you may know some reforms, or at least the innovations that other countries have been successfully implementing in their legislation, in their country and governmental authoritarian level, please, you're welcome, write in the commentaries. For us it will be essential, and especially it will be essential either for our country, for Ukraine. Okay, we will start. The topic is, of course, not very simple. The topic is, as I have already told, controversial. Maybe it's not very easy for some of you, but I do believe that after the live stream, we're going to have extreme supposition and extreme suggestions in order how to improve, and in order how to make the life, or at least not only one life, but the lives of our citizens, of Ukrainian people, much easier, and to give them a chance to survive, to give them a chance to live the second life, if you wish, yeah, because nowadays we are living in the society in the 21st century when the medicine is on really high level, and for me, subjectively, yeah, I'm for innovations, medical innovations, innovations in the treatment sphere, innovations in the examination medical sphere. That's why I'm for transplanting, and I'm for making surgeries, making something in order to save people's lives. But of course, there is another side of the coin, and while I was preparing for my live stream, I was discussing this issue for a week with my friends, with my colleagues, with my students and partners, and of course there is a big challenge. There is a kind of dilemmic, even supposition concerning a natural selection in the world. Natural selection between humans, among humans, as survives those who are stronger. I would like also to listen to your positions, like against or for the supposition of organs transplantation, and concerning your ideas. Should humanity have the second chance to survive while transplanting organs or not? So if you have any comments, if you have anything to add, to figure out, you're welcome in your commentaries. You have a big chance to write and to discuss this issue, this very essential issue for the humanity, for Ukrainian citizens, for all other countries' citizens. By the way, today we are going highly to knock down some positions of countries, and some countries where the transplanting is permitted, and it's not even permitted, but it's like a common truth. Yeah, it's been done every day. Yeah, and people do really have the second chance, probably the third chance to survive. In Ukrainian news, yesterday, one day ago, we saw a man who was shown the transplanting of heart. But unfortunately, despite his Ukrainian, the transplantation of his heart, of another heart to his body, was made in another country. Because our legislation, as I have already told, does not have special legislative base, special norms and laws concerning the permission, the high permission for transplanting the organs. Well, so while I'm waiting for you to leave the comments, or at least to leave your personal ideas concerning organ transplantation, of course, you may either put plus if you are for transplantation, yeah, and you can put, of course, minus if you are against. Like this, I will have a kind of statistics, and other Ukrainians who are watching our live streams will also have the idea of how it's widespread, of how this problem, challengeable problem, is widespread in Ukraine, and what consequences it can provoke, and what results can be for Ukraine, and citizens of Ukraine can figure them out. Okay, so we are going on to comment and to talk about these problems, transplantation in Ukraine. Nowadays, there was like a kind of sophisticated action about donors, like eternal donorship notice about the transplanting in Ukraine. It was a kind of flash mob, so to say, yeah, where there was given a kind of notice to Ukrainian citizens where it was written, me, name, surname, patronymic, I do agree to be the donor of organs for transplanting after my death. Of course, it was like a flash mob, as I said, for the cards that participants of Round Table received on the way to overcome the restrictions and overcome the barriers to the problem that we have in Ukraine, yeah. But of course, concerning the legislative sphere and concerning the governmental sphere, it's not at all legitimate, it's not at all legal, and it can't be regarded, yeah, as a real testimony, as a real document that gives the rights from one person to another. But still, the round table happened, yeah, and we can see some of intentions, some of people's intentions that still in Ukraine, it's not like a ban, yeah. I do believe, I don't know right now the statistics, of course, because the statistics, it's not open to the society, but still, much percent of Ukrainians, they do believe that this law is going to be constant, it is going to be stated in the Supreme Rada of Ukraine. I'm not sure, I do not know the exact date when this law is going to be stipulated by deputies and by ministers, and when it's going to be signed by president, if it will be. Still, there is a pretension for much of people, much of citizens to be for organs transplantations, because it's a high need high need for Ukrainians, high need for people at all. Nowadays, regarding the statistics, we have 5,000 Ukrainians who are waiting for organ transplanting in Ukraine. 5,000 people who need organs. Still, they cannot become people who are in a queue, or at least people who are in medical queue, because no laws can stop it. Therefore, in Ukraine, every day, daily, we have the statistics of 9 people who die. The statistics, of course, is frightened, moreover, because regarding the hospitals and constating the places and equipment, special medical equipment, where the operations may be done, may be executed, of course, we do not have at all. Neither special legislative base, nor medical equipment, nor actually the supposition of places for transplanting. Concerning the transplantation for people who have like mortal evidences, yeah, and who can't wait anymore, these people need to come to foreign countries, different foreign countries, we're going to talk about them later, who permit to make such kind of operations, and where people can have the second or even third chance to survive. Nowadays, concerning legal supposition and what actually is being executed in Ukraine, the information that I have, the information that I can share with you, we have only one special legal document, that simplifies a little bit this process. And some anatomic materials, but in Ukraine it's need to write a special notice, like a special document that is constated by legislative presumptive authorities that permit to have like quick and accessible way to foreign countries, such as Spain, as I see, United States of America, where the countries permit to make such kind of operations. Of course, the problem is also in special medical training for doctors, for surgeons who are going to execute and to make such kind of operations. Probably those of you who are doctors and who work in medical centers, you can also have maybe you can also have some documents, or at least some papers, articles that constant at least the supposition, at least a small high chance to have these operations in Ukraine, in order to have at least training for these operations. But it's also going to be regarded, and I don't think that in Ukraine it's going to happen in the nearest future. That's it. Well, concerning and dealing with some statistics about transplanting of organs and about different countries who are making these organs, for you it might be interesting to know the situation. For example, in Sweden, there was a transplantation for different organs, and they highly treat and examine and deal with these transplanting operations. These standards in Sweden are really very high, and they give they give a chance for many people, for many women especially, because they deal with women's organs for transplanting, yes, and actually speaking about and dealing about training before making such kind of operations, yes. It's a big wheel for the country, for the researchers, for the surgeons, for doctors, for everyone, in order to research this moment. In Sweden, for example, they are dealing with this issue, and the university who highly cooperates with different hospitals in Sweden, That's why it's a kind of like simultaneous reaction and simultaneous beneficial researches that obviously help to survive other people's lives. So Sweden is working on high standards, medical standards, research standards, and of course educative, if we speak about education, training centers, and so on. Concerning you, dears, if you know any information, one more time I'm telling to you concerning organ transplantation in Sweden, in European countries, probably in American countries, if you have such experience, write in the commentaries. For us, it will be very useful and essential information to work with and to understand what can be done, what lessons and what experience we can take from in other countries in order to implement it deeply and profoundly in our country as well. Concerning the equipment, of course, medical equipment, if we speak about, well, pricing and cost for medical equipment and comparing it with actually cost budgets that nowadays are given for different kind of operations dealing with kidneys, for instance, I have the information. For instance, the medical treatment for people with kidneys problems, yeah, it costs much more, whereas money could be spent for transplanting and after transplanting treatment. So the costs, according to statistics, could be saved in 2.5 times. But of course, nowadays we do not have at least even hint to economize, to make beneficial and healthy, productive standards treatment for Ukrainians. Well, concerning new technologies that are being used nowadays for people to survive, it's a very interesting technology, and many technologies, yeah, concerning the freezing organs before them being transplanted. So nowadays the world, especially Europe, they are working tightly and highly with this kind of treatment, freezing before transplanting. And it helps. It's called, by the way, very interesting. The Europeans called this new technology like super cooling technology, and it permits during 12 hours after the finishing of working the organ, yeah, to make it transplanted to another body, and it's going to be like survived, revived, and going on its existence in another body. The operations are successfully made after a supercooling procedure, yeah, and of course it intensifies, it durates and prolonges 3 times, more than 2.5, about 3 times the term of anatomic life of this organ. Concerning countries that are also leading, that are regarded to be the leading countries in transplantation problem in the world, the leading position is given for Spain also, while Sweden we have already taken. Spain is regarded to be the first to take the first place in transplanting, the 22nd year in turn. If we speak about operations, that for 1 year more than 4,000 operations are made for different people who come. Actually, concerning the statistics of Spain, these people are not only Spanish, these people are different who come to Spain, to this country, in order with an idea to be operated and with an idea to be given other organs from donors. Concerning donors, it's also a very controversial subject. It's not very easy to talk about it, and it's not easy just to write the testament or to make some kind of official docs. Of course, there are some countries where there is a law that concerns for donor organs taken from imprisoners, donor organs taken from bodies, from corpse, yeah, from people who have already died, yeah. I'm not sure about humanistic way, yeah, because if we deal with different sides, yes, and different kinds for dealing this problem. Of course, there are people who are humanists. I don't know how many of you are there. If you are humanist, show me your desires and ideas in your comments. But of course, humanistic side exists, and those people and those who support humanistic side and support natural side, for them probably this topic is not only controversial but very difficult to comment, yeah, because I have not told to religious people, yeah, and I don't know their vector of understanding and of regarding this problem, yeah, either to give the second chance, either it's possible to take organs from dead bodies or not dead bodies, but to be shared. Yeah, I'm not for, not against. I have the neutral position. I have my position. My position is highly performed in an idea that I'm ready to give my organs after my death to someone if someone needs them. That is like my vector of understanding and my position. But if you have another one, of course, write me and write to us, or at least give it to the private comments. We're going to discuss it during our meetings in classes. Well, concerning the other countries, well, we have, of course, the big problem of donorship and the big problem of organ donorship in the Eastern countries. Such countries as Turkey, such countries Saudi Arabia, the Sudan, and other Eastern countries. There, the situation is very oppressive and difficult, because the legal and legislative sphere does not provide any bans. It does not give any restrictions, so to say, for permissions, for different kind of permissions. And of course, it highly performs in problematic sphere. Such spheres like corruptive implementation and corruptive ways and spheres of taking these organs, even from children, even from kids. This problem is regarded corruptive. Probably it can be contrasted with even weapon problem that we have in the world. And of course, there is no kind of regulation of this problem. Actually, the first country also, from the history of this problem, the first country that started the organ transplantation and dealt highly with the making different kind of operations in this field was India. According to the documents that I have, it's the historical country. And while dealing with this aspect, yeah, while making different kinds of operations and organ transplantations, yeah, there were no restrictions, no bans. It was not regulated on any level. That's why it provoked for like a mafia, we can say, yeah, because people who were interested, like special clans who were interested in organs, they came to even villages, not for personally one individual, yeah, they came to villages, to poor villages, and it was a normal, like fact, like a practice, yeah, that they started, by the way, from taking kidney as an organ. So the first organ in history, according to my ways of documentation. If you have another sources, you're welcome, please, we can discuss it. So the first organ to be transplanted and to be cut off the body, the human body, it was kidney. And it happened in India. And it was not supervised by any authorities, by anything. Actually, that is the story. Of course, dealing with the professionalism of doctors, of surgeons, of those who deal, yeah, of those professionals who deal with the problematic of transplantation. We can't say that it's every second or every third who can make it. I do believe that those who overcome, those who pretend to have and to make and to examine such operations, It's of course people who need to be highly skilled, with big, huge, enormous international experience, yeah, in order to provide high standards and high experience, profound experience to Ukraine and to the citizens, not only of Ukraine, but of different countries. Well, my dear guests, dear followers, today the topic was controversial. The topic was difficult organ transplantations, mostly organ transplantation statistics in Ukraine, yeah. The results of today's live stream are that in Ukraine there is no legitimate regulation of this problem, yeah. There is no kind of people surviving by making operations. The result is also either this way of transplanting is humanistic or not. It's up to be discussed probably in further live streams during our meetings with you. Of course, it's a very difficult question. Religious aspect of this question is also under the discussion, yeah. And of course, either to give people another chance or not to give people another chance, it's of course for the humanity to decide and to settle. Thank you very much that today some of you joined our live stream by Victoria Vlasova by DELUXE Private School. We are working always for you. We are always opening new horizons of different topics, of different plots, even controversial as it was today. Welcome to our live streams every Thursday, live streams in English. And I do believe that you're going to enjoy your day, to think about future that you can give to our further generations, and stay calm. All the best for you, Victoria Vlasova, DELUXE School. All the best. Good luck.